Hey guys, in this video, we'll be talking about education and how to get the most bang for your buck. If you're new to this channel, I'm Romel, and on this channel we talk about all things related to finance, investing, and building wealth. We discuss mindsets, strategies, techniques, and resources to help you in your journey to build wealth. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing. We produce new content every week. So one of the most important investments you can make is how you use your time. And how you use your time includes what you do during the day. For a lot of people, especially our youth, most of their day is spent in school and in education. So how do you make the most out of this? And what choices can you do to help propel you in the right direction to success? This whole thing was brought upon because I actually had a podcast interview this morning with Andrew Lopez from Andrew Lopez, the Financial Podcast. He's another small YouTuber that talks about similar topics regarding personal finance, investing, and all that stuff. He's a small up and coming YouTuber, just like myself. So I'll leave a link in the description down below so you can check out his page. Couple differences between what I'm sharing here and what he has. His version is going to be uploaded, I believe, next week, and it's a more in-depth, more detailed, deep dive into this topic. This version is going to be a shorter, more condensed version, and I'm going to give one or two different suggestions that we didn't include in his podcast. And this is almost like a follow-up, just because after we got off the podcast, I realized that these two things are things that are important and should have been added. So stick around. All right, so let's talk about the different times in your life and education. So the first one is obviously from preschool all the way to high school. You know that in the traditional way of learning, you basically go grade by grade based on your age. While this is, the traditional way that's been done for many years, one might argue that this isn't the best way to learn. And that's because people have different affinities to different subjects and different learning styles. And one alternative to this, to the general education system, is by looking into what's called a Montessori school. This was a school that was introduced to me. I learned about it in one of my classes in college, and I think it's a great way to learn. The Montessori method of education, developed by Italian physician Maria Montessori, is a child-centered educational approach based on scientific observations of children. The method views the child as naturally eager for knowledge and capable of initiating learning in a supportive, thoughtful, prepared learning environment. It attempts to develop the child physically, socially, emotionally, and cognitively. Montessori method has been used for over 100 years in many parts of the world. So depending on your state, take a look at it. It's a different style of learning. One thing that's very different is that they have mixed age classrooms based on the development style of your child. Some of the development groups range from ages 3 to 6 year old, but 0 to 3, 6 to 9, 9 to 12, 12 to 15, and 15 to 18-year-old classrooms exist as well. So as you can see, there's a range of about 3 years between the different ages for development. What I like is, based on this article I'm reading, what I like is that there's a different style of method. It's the constructivist or discovery model, where students learn concepts from working with materials rather than by direct instruction. So, for example, one of the interviews I watched lately was about Elon Musk and how he educates his children. It's actually pretty interesting. If you look on YouTube, he actually created a school for his 5 children. And the way that they learn is a similar method. He didn't say the word Montessori, but it's basically learning by doing and exploring the kids' interest and affinity. So one of the examples he gave is, let's say you're trying to fix an engine of a car. The traditional way of learning would be to teach them what the tools are and how it's used. And while, yes, that's important, a better way would be to say, hey, let's fix this engine. How do we take this apart? And in doing so, you give them tools to show like, hey, this is what a screwdriver does, and this is why it's important to use it so that you can remove this screw and open the engine. And that sort of discovery method, I think, is definitely more applicable, especially for the youth who are more inquisitive. All right, so that's one alternative to education. And the second one is for people that have graduated high school and are looking towards college and beyond. Now that there's a lot more online learning due to this whole COVID pandemic, does physical in-person college make sense? One of the biggest arguments between college in the traditional sense, where you go to class, and online learning was that people are held more accountable when they have to show up to class. Now that we're basically doing everything online, does this still make sense, and is it still a viable option? Instead of paying for college, what if you just found free resources or low cost resources to help educate you in subjects that you feel interested in? In college, there's basically a set of classes called your general requirements that are needed or mandatory for you to take, which don't necessarily relate to your major. So, for example, if you're looking to do web development, does it make sense to learn about art? And I guess that's to debate upon, but that's just like two extremes. What I'm saying is that you should learn education that's one, practical to real life to real life uses, and two, things that you actually want to learn. So instead of going the traditional route for college, you could look at courses such as Udemy, which have learning paths. You could look at LinkedIn Learning, which also has like a learning path curriculum. You could look at stuff like Skillshare. There's actually a lot of colleges that offer free online classes through sites like edx.com. So that could be another alternative to going the traditional route of paying for college. There's two things that you need to think about when going to college. One is how much tuition is, and two, does it make sense to pay, $40,000 and up for room and board? While I know a lot of people are very keen on getting the college experience and, partying, you won't really understand the ramifications of this until after college when you're stuck paying your student loans. All right, guys, just thought I would share that. These are two things that I didn't share on the Andrew Lopez Financial Podcast, but I think it's interesting for you guys to know about. One was the Montessori School of Learning, and two was edX, which is basically college level curriculum and courses that are offered mostly for free. You'd have to check the site. I think there's a difference between paid and free courses, but yeah, it's a free alternative. It's a way to look into subjects that you like and that you care about, and it might be a better use of your time. Let me know what you guys think. I'd be interested to know how Montessori school graduates do once they go to a traditional college or go into the workforce. Did you feel like you were more prepared? Did you feel like you were less prepared because people are talking about things that you didn't have in your educational curriculum? All right, guys, that's all I have for this video. I know this was a little bit of a different topic, but I thought it was relevant because now that the coronavirus has basically changed the way we learn, colleges may not make sense anymore because everything's going to be online anyway. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe down below. And if you like the content we produce, please smash the like button to let the YouTube algorithm know that you love our stuff. Again, if you haven't yet, please subscribe. We're a new and growing channel, so anything you can do to support us is greatly appreciated. I'll leave a link to Andrew's channel down below so that when it does go live, you can go check it out. There's a lot more content on there. I think it was a great interview. He's a really nice guy, and I think we had a great discussion. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.